The Ski Patrol strike in Park City, Utah is one of the most interesting business case studies I have ever seen.
It is day 10 and Park City ski patrollers continue to be on strike. This is impacting business at the resort.
A story catching national attention tonight. Long lift lines and limited trail access, leaving visitors to Park City Mountain Resort pretty frustrated as ski patrollers continue that strike.
One of the country's most popular skiing destinations paralyzed.
Terrible line.
As a ski patrol strike stretches on.
Members of the Park City Professional Ski Patrol Association continue to picket, but could it soon come to an end?
For those who haven't caught the commotion online, thousands of travelers at Park City Mountain Resort, the largest ski resort in the United States, spent New Year's Day waiting in line with thousands of other people unable to use the mountain. The mountain itself is in good condition. It has snowed several times over the last week, leaving 3 feet of fresh powder that would have been perfect for this time of year. However, with more than 200 members of the resort's ski patrol staff forming a picket line, Park City Mountain Resort is currently operating at less than 20% capacity. Only 26 of the 41 lifts at the resort are running, and roughly 250 of the 350 trails are still closed. The resort is also artificially suppressing demand, suspending the sale of daily lift tickets and limiting access to skiers who have already purchased passes. This has turned one of the busiest weeks of the year into a disaster.
While progress between these two groups is good news, the fallout on the mountain is not.
We had everything packed up, ready to go. We flew out to Salt Lake, we got to the resort, and that's when we found out there was a strike happening.
This is our first and probably only trip to Utah.
Videos of the lines are garnering millions of views on social media.
Pay your employees! Pay your employees! Pay your employees!
And your electric bill.
Pay your employees!
And the publicly traded stock is now down about 6% since the new year, destroying $500 million in shareholder value. The Ski Patrol is asking for all the normal things you would typically see in a strike. A wage increase from $21 an hour to $23 an hour, improved benefits for seasonal employees, and pay adjustments that reward experienced long-term employees over new hires. Vail Resorts, which owns Park City Mountain Resort, can certainly afford these demands. The largest ski resort operator in the world brought in $2.9 billion in revenue last year. They spent $150 million on share buybacks and paid $80 million in quarterly dividends. But this is not really about the Ski Patrol. The real story revolves around a more significant trend: private equity's corporate consolidation of ski towns, placing a premium on margins, destroying customer loyalty while wreaking havoc on the slopes. To understand the problem at Park City Mountain Resort, we must first understand how Vail Resorts operates as a company. I recommend watching the full video from Wendover Productions, but since that video is 25 minutes long, here's what you need to know. Vail Resorts is a ski resort conglomerate. The company was formerly owned by private equity behemoth Apollo Management and run by former Apollo executive Rob Katz. What started as a small collection of 4 resorts in the early 2000s has grown into something much larger. Vail Resorts has spent the last 15 years buying up nearly every ski resort available for purchase. That includes iconic properties like Park City, Whistler Blackcomb, Stowe, and Crested Butte. Vail Resorts now owns a collection of 42 ski resorts on 3 continents, including North America, Europe, and Australia. This acquisition of assets changed the industry. Rather than relying on the sale of single-day lift tickets at each property, Vail launched the Epic Pass in 2008. This pass offered buyers unlimited skiing at any of Vail's properties worldwide for just $579. At face value, this seemed like a great deal. Single-day lift tickets can cost over $300 at some of these properties today. So even though the Epic Pass now sells for around $1,000, as long as you skied more than a few days each year, you were still getting a discount. Not to mention, the Epic Pass allowed you to visit dozens of exclusive properties worldwide. Vail Resorts was initially willing to sacrifice its margins to increase volume. They now generate nearly $1 billion in annual revenue from season-long passes, and 75% of all skiers visiting a Vail property today purchase an Epic Pass rather than a single-day lift ticket. Vail Resorts' largest competitor, Alterra, also offers a season-long pass called the Icon Pass. These passes provide the resorts with predictable cash flow. They effectively act as insurance against bad weather, as one location with less revenue due to no snow is less noticeable in a portfolio of assets. Vail and Alterra can then reinvest that cash in the business, upgrading lifts, building nicer hotels, and increasing the quality of food. This is where the real problem exists. Vail Resorts has essentially taken over the towns in which it operates. Vail Resorts still makes most of its money on the mountain, but that is just the start of a consumer's journey. Vail Resorts will provide you with lodging, either through accompanying a hotel or brokering a deal with a local landlord. Visitors will rent expensive gear from them before hitting the slopes. You'll eat a $25 cheeseburger at a Vail-owned restaurant once you return down the mountain, and Vail Resorts also has shuttles to and from the airport, with some people buying all-inclusive packages for several $1,000s. Vail's plethora of resorts will gladly charge you an arm and a leg for private ski lessons, and if you enjoy the mountain so much that you want to buy a second property, the ski resort conglomerate has real estate brokers ready to go accepting six-figure commission checks. The entire Vail experience has been vertically integrated, from lift tickets, rental gear, and ski lessons, to restaurants, hotels, shopping, rental cars, real estate, and more. In some sense, corporate consolidation has saved ski towns. Some of the world's most iconic mountains were operating at a loss, and Vail's unique ownership model allows the company to spread its economics across multiple properties. The only problem with this strategy is that it has had an increasingly negative impact on the people living in those towns and the workers operating the mountains. Sure, some properties offer discounted bunk-style lodging for seasonal employees, but those beds usually get swapped up in seconds, and everyone else is left paying thousands of dollars a month for shared housing or moving out of the city altogether, having to commute more than 30 minutes on an empty freeway to a town they used to call home. Vail Resorts has tried to salvage the situation by flying in managers from other resorts to man the lines while 200 employees are on strike. But that can only go on for so long. Vail Resorts can afford to pay Ski Patrol its $2 per hour requested raise. The company is worth nearly $10 billion. The additional $1 million annual expense would hardly make a dent in the company's $230.4 million net income last year, and that's without even mentioning that Vail would probably just pass the cost on to customers anyway. The reality is that they're taking such a hard stance because they know what comes next. Vail's management team says the Ski Patrol has already seen its wages rise 50% since the pandemic. The fear is that it won't stop here. Lift mechanics and electricians have already formed a union. What's to say others won't be next? If you give the Ski Patrol what they are asking for, common sense tells us that others will want more too. This right here is the root of the problem. Vail Resorts isn't operating the same ski resorts that your parents grew up going to. They are intent on maximizing margins at every possible step, returning value to shareholders via dividends, regardless of what it does to their employees or the local community. The resolution will probably be somewhere in the middle. Ski Patrol will get to call it a win because their minimum pay will be bumped to $24 an hour, while Vail's management team will save face internally by fighting back against the benefits plan. But if you are an avid skier who likes to visit properties in the Vail Resorts portfolio, I would think twice before booking your next trip. This is only going to happen more often. Vail's 2024 investor presentation included 14 slides on how they will transform the industry with an on-demand, subscription-based gear rental model for both adults and kids. Maybe that sounds like a good idea to some people, but to me, it just sounds like another way to make an already incredibly expensive sport that much more expensive.